Have you ever felt like something inside of you is holding you back from being your best self? Jungian psychology speaks of a phenomenon known as the sexual shadow, an archetype that resides in the unconscious mind and influences our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in ways we may not even realize. In today's society, there's still a significant amount of shame and fear surrounding sexuality. This can lead us to repress or deny certain aspects of ourselves, including our sexual nature. But what happens when we try to ignore or deny this part of ourselves? Does it really go away? What are the consequences of doing so? And how can we begin to heal and integrate this part of ourselves? Welcome back to our channel. Let us explore the depths of the sexual shadow and discover how embracing this often uncomfortable aspect of ourselves can lead us to true transformation. When we talk about the sexual shadow, we're referring to the repressed aspects of our psyche that society teaches us to be ashamed of. These can include our primal desires, our sensuality, our sexuality, as well as our repressed anger and aggression. Often, these parts of ourselves are denied because they don't align with the expectations and morals that we've been taught. We may fear being judged by others or by ourselves, so we push these feelings and urges into our subconscious, out of sight, out of mind. But here's the thing, according to Jungian psychology, the shadow doesn't disappear just because we ignore it. In fact, it grows and manifests itself in ways we wouldn't expect. You see, the shadow can be thought of as a dark, hidden side of our personality that holds all the qualities we've denied or rejected. It contains the parts of us that we deem unacceptable, whether because of societal norms, religious beliefs, or personal values. For instance, if you were raised to believe that expressing your sexual desires is wrong or shameful, you might start to associate sex with guilt and repression. As a result, you might develop a shadow self that manifests through passive-aggressive behavior, eating disorders, or even self-harm. The sexual shadow can also manifest in more subtle ways, such as low self-esteem, body image issues, difficulty forming intimate relationships, and even mental health problems like anxiety and depression. Think about it. If you've spent years denying and repressing certain aspects of yourself, those feelings don't just vanish. They show up in other ways, sometimes in ways that we don't even recognize. But here's the good news. Unlike the Freudian subconscious, Jung believed that the shadow could be integrated into the personality. Instead of keeping it locked away, we can bring it to the surface and consciously acknowledge these hidden parts of ourselves. This integration is key to our growth and development and allows us to become more whole, authentic individuals. By facing our shadow, we can understand and accept all parts of ourselves, not just the ones that are easy or comfortable to acknowledge. This journey of self-discovery and acceptance leads to true transformation and personal freedom. When we refuse to acknowledge our sexual shadow, we essentially reject a fundamental aspect of ourselves. This rejection can stem from various sources, such as rigid religious beliefs, conservative households, or a fear of societal judgment. However, by denying and repressing these natural desires and impulses, we inadvertently create a significant disconnect within ourselves. This division leads to feelings of guilt, shame, and emotional numbness, as we struggle to reconcile our true selves with the image we present to the world. Consequently, we may find ourselves living inauthentically, always trying to conform to external expectations and never truly embracing our full potential. Moreover, this suppression of our sexual shadow can manifest in negative ways, such as passive aggressiveness, low self-esteem, or even eating disorders. It can also affect our relationships, causing difficulties in forming intimate connections and maintaining open communication with partners. Furthermore, the constant battle between our conscious and unconscious selves can contribute to mental health challenges like anxiety and depression. Essentially, refusing to acknowledge our sexual shadow creates a fractured sense of self, leading to emotional distress, strained relationships, and a multitude of psychological issues. Imagine, for example, that you grew up in a strict religious environment where you were taught that sexual desires are sinful and shameful. As a result, you develop a strong internalized sense of guilt and shame around anything remotely related to sexuality. This repression then manifests in your adult life, causing difficulties in forming intimate relationships and perhaps even making you feel alienated from your own body. Now, let's explore the other side of the coin. Embracing our sexual shadow allows us to accept all parts of ourselves, including our primal desires and sexual nature. By acknowledging and integrating these aspects, we can experience a profound sense of wholeness and authenticity. Jung believed that recognizing and accepting our shadow is crucial for personal growth and achieving our fullest potential. When we come to terms with our sexual shadow, we can express our sexuality in a healthy, fulfilling way. This can lead to greater self-confidence, healthier relationships, and a deeper connection with our bodies and our instincts. However, the path to integrating our sexual shadow is not always easy. It requires courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. We must learn to challenge the negative beliefs and societal norms that have shaped our perception of sexuality and desire. But the rewards of this journey are immense. By embracing our sexual shadow, we can break free from the shackles of repression and live a life that is truly our own. We can reclaim our sexuality as a source of power and pleasure rather than shame and guilt. And in doing so, we can become more whole, authentic, and free individuals. It is important to remember that integrating our sexual shadow is not about giving into base desires or engaging in reckless behavior. It's about finding a balance between our higher and lower selves, between our conscious goals and our primal instincts. It is about recognizing that we are complex human beings with a multitude of desires and motivations, and that all of these aspects have a place in our lives. By embracing our sexual shadow, we can cultivate greater compassion and understanding towards ourselves and others. We can become more accepting of our own imperfections and the imperfections of those around us. We can also develop a deeper appreciation for the beauty and complexity of human nature. Ultimately, integrating our sexual shadow is a transformative journey that leads to greater self-acceptance, authentic connections, and a life lived on our own terms. While many of us have heard of Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory, which emphasizes the role of childhood experiences in shaping our adult personalities, his ideas about the Oedipus complex have been particularly controversial and have sparked ongoing debates. The Oedipus complex, proposed by Freud in 1909, suggests that during the phallic stage of psychosexual development, children develop unconscious sexual desires for their opposite parent and view the same-sex parent as a rival for their affection. According to Freud, successful resolution of this complex involves renouncing these desires and identifying with the same-sex parent, ultimately leading to the development of the superego. However, critics argue that the Oedipus complex is based on flawed assumptions and that evidence supporting its existence is weak. Some researchers suggest that any observed behaviors attributed to the Oedipus complex can be better explained by other factors such as identification and differentiation from parents rather than unconscious sexual desires. Nevertheless, the idea of the Oedipus complex has had a significant impact on our understanding of human psychology and continues to be a topic of discussion and research. We hope you found this video insightful and encourage you to continue exploring the depths of Jungian psychology. Don't forget to subscribe for more informative and thought-provoking content. If you found value in our discussions, please show your support. Your engagement helps us continue delivering quality content. Feel free to share your thoughts, questions, or suggestions in the comments below. We value your input and would love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.